Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Choose Your Own Adventure and my reflection piece, which is basically portfolio project item number 6. And I'm going to focus on looking at this through the creative thinking lens, although I will spend a little bit of time discussing literacy. But I am going to focus on the creative aspects because this part of the project was designed for students to have fun with. Well, I'm going to start on the Choose Your Own Adventure portion because frankly this part is more fun. And it was designed to allow students to be creative. My only rules were I need a map, could be physical, could be fictional, could be online generated, doesn't matter. But I need a map, I need a unique storyline that you as a student create, and I needed to pose a question that could be solved by using triangle centers or mid-segments. Then you have to make that actual construction and show me that it's been completed. So that scenario could be done with so many situations. And I said, you know what? This could be, regular 2D piece of paper kind of thing, but it could also be electronic and creative. You could make a PowerPoint for a business proposal related to parking garages. You could make a booklet or pamphlet on e-bikes and charging stations. Or you could be a news reporter talking about accidents on roadways or locations of free health clinics. You could be a weather reporter talking about storms in the region, or a criminal consultant talking about roadblocks. There are so many different avenues that students could go with this project. Unfortunately, most of mine did not take that route, but I want to make sure it's clear that this option was out there, and perhaps in future renditions, more students would choose to take something more challenging, more creative, so they can really showcase all of their real abilities. I'm going to start with a piece which I think exemplifies this idea of creativity the most, the Star Trek situation. Granted, I am a huge fan of Star Trek, but I really do think that he does a very good job of tying together the fan base in the show with this construction. So, as you notice here, he first has her spaces, Cardassian, Klingon, Federation, Romulan, and Ferengi, and he shows a triangle being formed between their home worlds. He then writes a piece that is supposed to be as, Admiral Pike's personal log, and he even says on stardate 030119.74. And basically, he's referencing all these terms, Klingon High Council, the Emperor of the Romulan state, and he's saying that they're facing a Dominion attack. And to solve this issue, they have to place a beacon equidistant from their homeworlds. So again, he's tying in, this scenario. He even makes a joke about tribbles at the bottom. So he's having fun with it on this creative sci-fi level, but it's also able to tie it back to the constructions we've been practicing over and over again. In addition, if you go ahead and look at the far right question, this one's supposed to be about a party. And this one actually references the TV show Phineas and Ferb, and it takes place by looking at Dr. Doofenshmirtz. He's, a scientist. Of course, in the show, he's an evil one, but that's okay. So in this scenario, he's trying to figure out where to put his cool speaker, his JBL Pulse 3 speaker, and he's trying to figure out where to put it so that, I believe they say, let me find it on here, yeah. So he says he wants it so that it has equal sound distribution. And he even gives some information about its Bluetooth range of being 64 to 66 feet, and that it's going to have 360-degree sound distribution because of its design. And from that, he's trying to figure out where exactly should I put it around these tables so that everybody has equal, access and sound level and quality for the music at this party. And this particular student, he created a blank version, he solved a version, made an answer key, gave possible student answers, and really went all out in tying in this concept of technology with our constructions with these fun TV shows. Another great one is the one at the bottom there on the right-hand side. It's supposed to be a softball game, and the scenario is that some of the players just missed a pop-up right in the middle of the field. And now they're trying to figure out, based on their locations, who should have actually gone after the ball. And so she goes ahead and uses constructions to determine what was supposed to have happened. It appears that this particular student went ahead and calculated the in-center, circumcenter, centroid, and orthocenter, and used those calculations to explain what happened and who should have gone after the ball. And this is a great example of something students who are athletes experience when you're out on the field and they're playing. Situations come up, they found a way to connect that back to the classroom, which is absolutely fantastic. And the student on the far left, while I know the writing isn't included in this picture here, the student was talking about their journey between their house, 7-Eleven, and the movie theater, AMC. I believe they're trying to figure out where they should meet up, and you can see here not only did they complete the construction and labeled all the coordinates around the bottom and the sides, but they also went ahead and solved the construction and then formed the circle proving that they were right. So it gives a good visualization so that everybody knows exactly what was happening. And that well-labeled practice is fantastic. And maybe this scenario wasn't terribly exciting. The point was it was actually very realistic. This is something they encountered in their day-to-day life, and it's again this application of seeing what they experience and connecting it back to the actual classroom, which is a pretty good step in creativity. Making those connections is incredibly important. Lastly here, I want to take a look at my reflection piece. So I basically asked students what they liked, what they disliked, and I also asked them, what did you reference as tools or as notes during this project? And you can see here, I actually listed a couple items that I thought they should be using because we've been working on them since January, and this was a project done at the end of March. So they had months of building up these resources and they want to know who actually used them. And then I also asked them, what did you learn from working on this project? What types of processes or skills did you develop while actually going through this work? And then I asked them, do you actually personally think that it helped you improve in some of these skills? And of course, I'm not grading them on if they're saying yes or no. I want to see their actual response. I'm telling them to elaborate, to be clear, to make sure that they're able to communicate everything that they are going through. And I also wanted to figure out some, data for myself. I asked them, how much did you do in class versus outside of class? Did you work with others or by yourself? How did you use your in-class time? Do you think it was a wise decision, or do you think you could have done it differently? And then overall, what could have been different about the project? All of these things are designed to help students reflect on their work, their overall experience, and understand that I am looking for feedback. This concept that teachers are learning too. I want to know what they liked and didn't like, what worked and didn't work. That way I know how to change it for future generations in my class. Unfortunately, most students didn't get to the reflection piece or this main project part of the Choose Your Own Adventure. Part of the problem was that it was the 6th item out of, a big-ish project, and a lot of students decided to skip it and just, let those points go. So they didn't see it as the fun and creative and reflective nature. They just saw it as one more text-heavy piece. And I'm concerned that, this text-heavy nature, they basically looked at it and, their minds blanked. They're just saying, oh no, so many words, what's happening? Unfortunately, I don't think many actually read it and realized that this part here was supposed to be where more of that fun creativeness was happening.